from the Workplace Ninja Summit in Baden. Smart talks, sharp insights, and stories worth sharing. This is the Workplace Ninja podcast.
So hello, welcome back. Ninja Summit 2025 in Baden. And we are just on the table to have some conversations about security Copilot and that kind of stuff. My name is Frans Oudendorp, together with my co-host Thomas.
Yeah, hello, welcome. I'm Thomas Kurt. I'm also working security with Security Copilot, and I'm quite happy to have you here.
So what do we have on the table? Some people from Blue Voyant, I guess. Yeah. Let's start with a short introduction.
Sure. Thank you for having us here. It's really an honor and a pleasure. I'm Jaime Guimera. I work at Blue Voyant as a security architect focusing on Security Copilot. So happy to talk about it, all the good and the not so good things.
Let's see what we can make out of this topic. And what do we have next to you?
Cool. Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Manuel Hauch. I'm also working at security at Blue Voyant and as a client security architect. A lot on Defender, Sentinel stuff. Just started go a bit deeper in Security Copilot, so Jaime is definitely the one leading that. But I'm really happy to be here and really cool event.
Yeah, nice. And you had a nice structure to start this conversation off. Yeah. A nice topic introduction. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is talking about AI, and I was last year at Ignite and was seeing what Satya was presenting with the agentic stuff which is coming out. And just last week, I had a very great experience in GitHub Copilot, something totally different, but I think it's important to see what are agents at the beginning, because we have the chat experience, which a lot of people know, but what is with agents? What is that really? And just imagine I asked, can you create me a Nokia Snake game? I mean, quite simple, but probably Nokia was developing on that a few weeks. And it was starting doing things first. Hey, I create a task list. What do I need to do? And at some point it came, hey, I start the build process. Was reading the output, was fixing the stuff. And at the end, now I run it. And it was there, I could control everything. And that's where I see where agents can really help us. And where do you see how come this into security? I mean, that was now a clear developer example, but what about security? Where do you see the future?
Yeah, so that's a great example, and it showcased the transition from the chat experience, like the chat GPT ones, that you ask questions and you get an answer. That's simple. But with agents, you give a goal, a task, a complex task. The agent then splits it up, start doing checks along the way, and making sure that everything works until it completes the task. If it fails, it might retry again. That's really a change of paradigm, and definitely in security, we see that there are a lot of topics that can benefit from that type of paradigm or approach. One of the most time-consuming things that we see in security is incident investigation, triage and investigation, but also response to incidents. So how you can task an agent to finalize this threat or to mitigate all these bad things that are happening in my environment, and then just wait for it to do it. So it will save a lot of time. It will free time of all the analysts and all the people working in cybersecurity to quickly attend to the things that are really important and not do this mundane, repetitive task that we are currently doing in most of the place. Because, to be honest, automation, it's good, but it's not easy. It's hard. Agents, on the other side, they are more easy to give instructions to. Automations, you need to go step by step, code everything. In agentic workflows, you just give the instructions, you tell the agent what you want to do, and then the agent, if it has the right tools, it will do it for you. So that's one of the things that I see. It's mostly triage and response of incidents. I don't know, Manuel, if you have any good other use cases for AI.
Yeah, I think what you said is a key one, right? So the key part really is, I mean, automation's been around for ages. And we always talk a lot about automation, and there was always a goal for like almost every SOC team to automate stuff. But then the reality is like that is very kind of strict, right? It's deterministic. You have to parse every single input. You have to see that like that matches to the outputs, etc. And then of course with the agent that is much more dynamic now. So we are not kind of that limited anymore that like someone has to strictly put in the automation, and then once that input to the automation change, right? Like maybe Microsoft changes something in the underlying data, or actually like the incident just looks different than we are used to, then automatically currently our automation breaks, and that's I think the key difference with agents. And I think what we always have to keep in mind is like we are still talking about generative AI, right? So always kind of keep that in mind, and making sure that like the use cases you're looking at are like the ones that hopefully benefit the most from that perspective. Like the phishing stuff is a great example, because phishing emails, they change a lot, they are very dynamic, attackers always try new stuff, and it's always very hard to kind of automatically analyze them, right? We can of course automatically do checks against URLs, then QR codes became a thing, and that changed a lot. And also like the semantics in emails and stuff, that's I think really a strength of generative AI, and something to keep in mind there.
But I mean, that sounds like the solution for nearly most of our problems what we have. Is that already reality? How have you seen that? Is it really that far that it take over 80% of the workload of your analysts, or?
I don't think it's that far yet. There's a lot of promising tools, solutions that are saving time already, and that's a reality. We are not ready yet, I think, as an industry to get rid of people. We still need people that is actually validating that those agents are working correctly, that they are approving certain things that the agents are not allowed to do, and doing things on top that maybe a human mind can only do right now. In the future, I think that there will be like a transition from like human hours into agent work. Right now, it's not there yet, but it's true that they are saving time, and they are doing a lot of things that humans don't like to do, and putting that task and those workloads into the agents. It's the future, it's the present, and it's gonna be bigger in the future.
Talking about agents. And regarding the custom plugin that what the session was about, Microsoft is developing agents. Is it still need to create custom stuff on top of it? So what makes you guys doing the custom stuff instead of using agents that are probably not good enough at the moment? But what kind of things can you say about that?
Yeah, so in my experience, there's agents that can fit every customer of Microsoft. For example, the phishing triage agent is mostly applicable to everybody that use that specific tool. But there are things that their workflows or processes that are different in every customer. And having one agent that fits them all is not a reality in certain things. And then, for example, DLP is one of the cases that the agent is cool, but it's a little limited because it needs to be there and useful for everybody, and they are missing things in that agent that might be knowing that the process of business related, that they are specific for specific customers. So having those customizations for those customers is what makes the real difference in adoption, especially because sometimes, yes, the agents are there to be like a bare minimum for everybody, but some customers need a little bit more extra, and then is where those custom agents or customizations come into place.
And I think Microsoft they will always focus first on the first-party solutions, right? That's not something unique to Security Copilot. That's a common theme and totally understandable. And with the customizations, of course, you can integrate other third-party systems that might not naturally be integrated in Security Copilot, or even data from Microsoft platforms, right? Like in our example, what we showed, it was as simple as Secure Score integration, which is coming to Security Copilot, but there are still some limitations. So we used a plugin to overcome that challenge and get that data in there to make use of it today and not wait basically until it's in the product. So that extensibility. Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges, technical challenges maybe, in building these kind of integrations? Because Microsoft I think the structure is more open than years ago, but probably there are some challenges. Maybe.
Yeah, data access is always the biggest challenge. How you access the data. It's true that the platform has a lot of integration capabilities, but it's still limited. It's not able to do everything, right? And overcoming those data access challenges, you need some workaround sometimes, like put a piece in the middle, like a software or a function app, logic app in the middle that allows you to talk to other platforms because the native capabilities doesn't allow you. And then one of the other key challenges that we see is the volume of the data. So when we integrate with other tools, we need to control a lot the size of the data that we send into Security Copilot, because otherwise it has some limitations on the size of the data that it can process. But also it's going to be expensive if you don't control that size.
Yeah.
You were one of the first one which built a Security Copilot agent. What is the effort? What do you need to do for building such an agent?
In my experience, it's changed a lot, and it's going to be even easier in the future. At the beginning, it was a lot of trial and error. I spent hours trying things. There was no documentation. There was nothing around that, so you just need to guess what works and what didn't work. And now it's better. Last week, there was released that the official documentation, the Microsoft Learn portal, about how to build agents. There are sample agents. The community is starting to build around agents, and it's easier to see examples and what other people is facing and doing. So now it's getting better and better. Still requires a few hours to develop an agent if you know what you're doing. But the learning curve right now it's way easier because just available documentation and examples make it a lot easier.
And maybe just from my example, because Jaime was like kind of doing the pioneer work here, just kind of learning from him. Like if I would have just looked at the official documentation, everything, it would be much harder for me to figure it out. But like just having these examples published, and then you kind of go through them, and then you understand the structure and how it works. So that really helps a lot.
Talking about the session, the in-depth stuff a bit, how do you map active security incidents to secure score in practice, and what does that mean for our customers? So what advice and how do you make it actionable?
So yeah, that was the whole idea around that talk. Basically the idea was we always talk a lot about preventive security controls, and we talk a lot about doing like deployment with our customers, that everything needs to be configured according to best practices. And then at some point, like at least in our cases, right, we are then providing SOC services, and other companies do the same. And what I've seen a lot is like that sometimes the focus shifts, right? Like maybe the Defender implementation, that was a big project, there was a lot of focus on there, everything was accordingly set up. And then over time, like other priorities come in, Defender changes, new configurations come in, and then we see like this typical configuration drift. And of course we do have measurements from Microsoft around like secure score and exposure management to help us with that. But the angle that we took was like coming from the other side, and also maybe finding new ways to present to management what we really need to focus on, versus just looking at like secure score, which gives us again a list. We know that should be implemented, and that's super important, but we kind of wanted to come from the other side and say, hey, like you have secure score, and we know that all of that stuff is important, but if we just look at your environment right now, and we look at the security incidents you have, or like had during the last month, right, and then look at those two positive incidents, for those specific incidents, what would have been the most impactful controls that we should have implemented? And that was kind of the idea and the approach that we took here.
Has this shifted then what customers have also requested from you, then changing these things actively, or is it more making it visible on a different level? Because we have also exposure management, which brings insight. So how do you see, how have customers reacted on these new insights?
I mean, that's mainly something we still have to explore, right? Like the one we built specifically for Security Copilot, of course, is only available for those customers with Security Copilot licenses. But what we kind of planning to do or want to do is making this more accessible to more people and a broader audience. We're not there yet, honestly. What I can see is that we maybe, or hopefully, that's at least my hope, that we get a attention on a different level, right? So for example, CISOs, they look a lot on KPIs, right? And if we can bring those KPIs around how many true positive incidents we have directly in relationship with those security controls, then hopefully we can help to make that change faster and help customers actively implementing those.
If you both have built the solution what we're talking about, what did you learn the most? And Jaime, probably you have done the initial work, Manuel, the things that comes after. But what's the most important learning that you take with you from that process that were you in?
Yeah, for me, it's having the right data. Right, you can use all the AI tools in the world. If you don't have the right data to support those decisions and those conclusions, you don't have anything, or it's not worth it. So that was one of the key challenges that we faced. We didn't have the data that we needed to support the use case that we were building, and we need to overcome it with the additional workarounds because we needed that data. And once we have it, everything falls in place afterwards. So that's one of the key things that in my experience about using AI for everything is you need the right data. So. Yeah. That's the key learning.
Yeah, I think for me the key learning really was how easy it can be to extend Security Copilot and tailor it a bit more to what you need versus maybe if you just go in and you type in a prompt and then you might be a little bit disappointed that a certain thing doesn't work or you don't have that specific data, and then working with Jaime around the plugins and the YAML files, that was kind of it actually can be quite easy to extend that and then come to a solution that you might have thought actually doesn't work out of the box.
And if you look into the near future, these kind of custom plugins, creating the kind of custom plugins, you already mentioned the learning pages where Microsoft is publishing how you can create that kind of agents and plugins as well. Will that become a more or less a standard in the near future? Creating the kind of plugins, agents for yourself? How do you see that?
I mean, as the platform matures, there's more things integrated into the platform, so less customizations will be needed. As the platform becomes more flexible and adaptable, I think they will need it in the future. They will still be needed, but I see there's going to be a big change in the developer experience, how you develop these custom plugins. So it's going to be more easy. It's going to be easier to develop custom plugins inside the platform itself. So you don't need to go into anywhere just to type it in or to code anything. Everything will be there, and the integration capabilities will just explode because it will be accessible to everybody. It will maybe a no-code interface where you can quickly say, "This I want to integrate with this. I want to run these queries," and everything will be created under the hood for you. So
let me give you one example. That was something that I learned a few weeks ago. Someone from an Intune consultant that does not have developer skills has a lot of ideas. So he opened Copilot in the last years and used Copilot to make that happen. Mm-hmm. He's not a developer, but with Copilot, he's able to create stuff what's in his head to develop. Is that more or less the same experience that we will get from creating that kind of agent? So I'm not a developer, I'm not deep technical, but with all the capabilities with AI, Copilot and so on, I have the ability to create that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I've been pushing to Microsoft since more than a year now. Use AI, you are an AI platform. Use AI to help people develop on top of the platform. So right now I use GitHub Copilot, that agent mode that it has, to develop my own plugins, my own agents, because I have already the repo of a few of them, and it learns from my developer style. They know how it works, the format, it knows everything on how I develop things. So now I can ask quickly, hey, can you gave me an Intune agent that does this, and this, and it will configure based on all the other agents that I have already pre-built. It will find me the right configuration file or the deployment file. So that having that inside the platform, you have access to the data, you have access to the configuration, to add existing things in there. So putting that into a mix where someone can say, I want an agent for this. Can you do it? And then Security Copilot itself will scan through all the available skills, plugins, integration, and we will select the right ones for you and will tell you, yes, these are the instructions. Is there anything particular that you want to address or any topic? We have this available for you. You just need to select which one you want and give it like a quick overview, and then I will create everything and run it, test it, see the results, you iterate over it. Having all that inside the platform is going to change a lot.
So the future will be bright.
I hope so.
So let's see what happens there. I really love this conversation about this topic. And if you guys or girls that are watching want to get on par with these kind of topics, let's have a look at the Learn pages and at all the other things that Microsoft is publishing probably in the near future there. And if not, you can probably reach out to the people here on the table.
Definitely happy to have any conversation around this. There's also a GitHub repo from Microsoft where a lot of content on Security Copilot, custom plugins, logic apps, Chromebooks, it's there. So it's a great place to start looking at.
So thanks for joining and having this conversation. Really happy that you guys are here. So thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And if you're watching this, I already mentioned the Learn pages, but keep an eye on our YouTube platform or the podcast channels for the next recording, because the next one is about cybercrime with Sami Layo. It's always fun. And,
it's crime.
And Fabian Bader. So that will be the next one that will be published in the next few weeks probably. So keep an eye on that. I say until then, until next time.
Thanks for joining the Workplace Ninja podcast. Stay curious, stay connected, and keep sharpening your ninja skills. Until next time.